to this wonderful audience here. We are talking here about AP Genie. AP Genie is a business spend management platform, and we're going to go today and talk more about how we solve business problems for accounts payable and different departments. Myself, this is Vishal, and my partner here,
Kenneth.
as all of you know, hopefully all of your startups and companies evolve and we grow. And when you get into these challenges about your product, other than focusing on your product and customers, you have also internal problems about bookkeeping, accounting, finance. And just to give some of your highlights, these are the topics that go through your problem, right? Supplier, managing the suppliers, sourcing, contract management, procurement, invoicing, payments, and how do you spend, analyze your spend. We're primarily going to be focusing on invoicing and payments today. That's the hardest problem out of all of these. Some of the challenges that you would focus on managing your invoicing and payments is how much cash flow do you need in the bank to be able to pay your suppliers, right? That's a big deal. You need to know because suppliers are critical. If you're running a hardware company or a support service that you need that would fuel your system to be able to end deliver your product, right? So in this case, how much cash flow do you need? What is the invoices and paying them accurately? How do you get the right person to approve the right invoices? Assume you're a distributed model, you have people all over the globe. You want to make sure the right person who consumed the service is approving the right invoice that's being paid. So that's a challenge. Who are your key suppliers? People who actually you would depend on if you were a hardware provider. If you don't get the necessary resources, you're not able to pay them accurately, right? And that could fail your delivery or your supply chain or whatnot. Invoice matching is basically who promised to pay, how much you promised to pay, what was agreed in the contract, what was the terms and things like that. And most important is regulatory compliance, which is basically once you go in for future funding or you're trying to become a public company, your books are scrutinized and you need to make sure you accurately share your expenses, your invoices, your payments, who your suppliers are, and things like that. So it is a critical part of the business, more than your customer, as equivalent to your customers and your product as well. Okay? So this is all a hassle, a lot to manage, not easy, right? But hopefully we have actually AP Genie that will solve all your problems magically. Cool. So this is just showing you an invoice. All of us obviously make purchases every day, but we kind of ignore them because we get the receipt, we pay for it, we use our card, and we're done, right? That's great. It's an amazing experience. But when an entity or a business needs to pay an invoice, it's a lot more scrutiny. Just as simple as this invoice is, we'll just call out the topics that you can see. On the top left-hand corner, what you see is John Smith is the person who consumed the service within the company or the organization, right? The company that's providing the service is a really great company. On the right hand is the date the services were provided. The line items are the details of what was consumed, the quantity, and the price. On the left hand, on the bottom here is the bank account details on who you need to pay and when you need to pay. There's also a terms of when you need to pay by. So what we're trying to do is simplify this by, instead of providing it to somebody else, they enter it and do things like that. A simple user interface where you're able to drag and drop on any web interface like a Slack or web messenger or WhatsApp. Drag and drop your PDF document. We'll then see how we will convert that PDF document and eventually get to a database. This is another thing that we actually built. It's built on one of the tools that we have here. You're uploading the invoice, and what we're trying to do is convert unstructured data into structured data, extracting the contents of the PDF here. As you know, you might get a variety of invoices, so there is no standard in the industry today. Anybody would provide any kind of invoice with tax details, no tax details. There's a lot of variety out there across the globe in different currencies as well. So just trying to state the complexity that it could get to. This is an example where we're just scanning through an invoice, extracting the content that I described before. We're taking unstructured data here on this and transforming it into a tabular format. Those are some of the key elements that we'll be extracting. As you see, that's just an example, but it could go a lot beyond that, right? We'll just switch. Now asking a genie is basically going to be able to analyze that data for you. And these are some of the questions you can ask the genie. How much do I need to pay today, right? How do I pay these? What do I need to pay by week, month? Based on my spend this month, what will I spend next month? Based on my spend, well, how much money do I need to have in my bank account? And can you tell me if I can get a discounted price and things like that? So we'll switch to the demo in the interest of time, but hopefully that gives you the context. Here, basically, we have already demoed and extracted information. In this case, we're asking the tool how many invoices are there outstanding, how many we need to pay, and it's showing you examples of that basically on a web interface, just as our ChatGPT extract, right? A similar interface. So on this last invoice, you can, even for the future, we are working towards being able to pay on your invoice, as in we were uploaded the invoice originally, you see the PDF, you see the content, but you're also able to pay and decline right from your WhatsApp interface or any similar interface where you're able to decide. So you don't need to go into the system to get stuff, it goes to the right person on the day off and also show you how many days you have taken to be able to pay it and things like that.
So what I have done is a pretty quick trusted CRM interface, and we have 2 questions already posted. I'm going to add another creative invoice in there, just so that you can see the differences. So right now we have 2 invoices in the inbox, and it's also extracting the unstructured data into structured data in the table. And as Vish already talked about, we're going to be passing this information downstream into the client or Stripe API in order to pay the payment. So what I'd like to do is to show you another invoice I'm about to upload. The amount is about $246.10 with all this itemized. So I'm going to go into this interface here real quick. It's going to take a little bit of time to ingest it and put it into the REG. Now I'm going to go back to the terminal and rerun this. And if everything is right, it should be from 2 to 3. Well, lucky, we got it 50% right. The second one is going to take a little bit of time, and it's not quite there. I think maybe it has something to do with the data, picking up some of the metadata. But as you can see, the data is into the REG. But there's a little bit more fine tuning that need to be done, and surely there's a parsing error part that also needs to be tightened up.
So you guys get the intent to be able to extract the data, to be able to process it, and then use API calls from Slack or Stripe depending on the solution on how you want to pay. In the interest of time, happy to take questions.
What model do you use to analyze the structured data itself?
So we're passing, all the PDFs, and then we're passing into the client's DB, and it's passing into the embedding and using the database, to do the information. So we're using an LLM, picking up amount div, and there's a degree of looseness because it's language. So I think the more examples we can feed into it, it's going to get tightened up.
Next point. Have you thought about using an interpreter instead of a language model so that it can summarize? If I have 5, let's say I have 5 invoices and I want to summarize the total, I want to know how much I have to pay, right? Have you thought about using an interpreter type of solution instead of a language model to answer those more complex questions on structured data?
So that's on the roadmap for today. This weekend, we didn't quite get to hit them all.
Yes, certainly. We definitely thought of that. We've also thought of about how to go into the future to be able to do like price comparisons using on the website. For example, I'd like to purchase 1,000 laptops or 100 laptops, compare it between websites and bring us back recommendations and things like that. I think with the limitations of time and constraints, but we have a roadmap planned on a lot of things so that we could extend this solution to. And also reverse, you could do it on accounts receivables, where you have to do collections and invoices from customers. So in the same logic, you can upload the invoices from customers that you have to receive and give customers the power to show them what they could achieve as well. Hopefully that answers the question.